for supporters. I don't know what is going on in this league right now. Exactly. I don't know what's going on exactly with the Indiana Fever. There's some feeling out there that possibly Caitlin Clark is injured and the Indiana Fever know it, and that's why they're signing so many guards. I don't know.
That uncertainty in his voice tells you everything. Something is genuinely off with the Indiana Fever right now, and nobody from the organization is willing to clear it up. The whispers about Caitlin Clark have moved from message boards into mainstream conversation, and the silence coming out of Indianapolis is making it louder.
I don't know. What's going on with Caitlin Clark? Is she injured? Again, all this, some of this stuff that they're doing, all this, we're going to do a pad and all that. No. I mean, you notice, I've watched a couple of other guys. I mean, nobody. I mean, this is one player. One player. Doesn't mean somebody occasionally doesn't go back in the back, but hey, you know, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, then quack.
A heat pad sitting on the bench. The Fever stockpiling guards all off-season. Roster moves nobody on the beat can fully explain. If Caitlin Clark is genuinely healthy, why does this team keep operating like she might disappear at any moment? The walks like a duck line lands because every piece of circumstantial evidence is pointing the same uncomfortable direction, and the team will not address any of it.
Once again, like I talked about the other day, the shocking lack of Caitlin Clark on the Indiana social media page on Twitter X. Kelsey Mitchell met with fans. Kelsey, there's the arrivals. Okay. $28 tickets on family night. I mean, guys, people were paying way up for tickets or willing.
Now examine the Indiana Fever's own social media operation. May 10th, a Mother's Day post. That was the last time the team's primary X account dedicated a direct piece of content to its franchise player. After that, days of silence. Meanwhile, Kelsey Mitchell is getting the arrival shots. Kelsey Mitchell is getting the fan meet content. Kelsey Mitchell is getting the schedule reveal slot. This is not an editorial oversight from a content team. This is a deliberate editorial choice, and that choice is blowing up in their faces.
Showing the schedule, Kelsey Mitchell is on here. The Fever hates Caitlin Clark. It's getting weird. 0-4, we got to lose with Kelsey Mitchell ball hogging. Caitlin Clark filled Gamebridge, not Kelsey Mitchell or any other Fever player. Trade Caitlin, free her. It's weird. Caitlin Clark, wake up. Fever management is doing everything to limit your shine. It's weird. It really is.
551 likes on a single comment telling Fever management to wake up. Replies in the hundreds saying variations of the same thing. The fan base that delivered record ratings, record attendance, and record merchandise revenue last season is now watching its own team actively minimize the player who made all of it possible. And the secondary market is responding the only way secondary markets respond. Last year, Fever tickets were the hottest commodity in women's basketball. This year, $28 puts you in the lower bowl on family night. That price collapse is not a marketing problem. That is a confidence problem. The audience has stopped believing they are going to see what they came for.
Right here, this news came out that the WNBA is adding money to their media rights deal. They've added a few more deals. They've elevated the money. Interesting. Y'all scrambled to get this done, did you not? I mean, what? You just signed the media rights deal. Now you're scrambling to elevate it. I mean, you do understand. I wonder if the league understands. If something happens with Caitlin Clark.
The timing of this next announcement deserves serious scrutiny. The WNBA finalized its broadcast rights agreement less than a year ago. Now, in the middle of an off-season with no scheduled negotiation window, the league is announcing additional broadcast partners and a substantially inflated valuation. Why the scramble? Why now? because the original numbers were built on a single foundational assumption. That assumption was that Caitlin Clark would continue to function as the gravitational center of the league's audience for the entire duration of this contract. Anything that threatens that assumption, an injury, mismanagement, a coaching staff that caps her minutes, a front office that suppresses her brand, puts the entire economic model on shaky ground. The league knows it, the networks know it, and somebody in a corner office in Indianapolis better start knowing it too.
Or if she's diminished to the point that nobody wants to watch. WNBA media deal now exceeds $3 billion in total value. 11-year deal worth $3.1 billion with partners Disney, NBC Universal, NBC Peacock, Amazon, Paramount, Scripps, that's Ion, USA Network, NBA TV. A source familiar with the league's deals confirmed to Front Office Sports. The average annual value of the new media rights deal is $281 million, 6.5 times the previous deal.
$3.1 billion in total value, $281 million as the average annual value, 6.5 times the previous arrangement, which was generating roughly $60 million per year. Disney, NBC Universal, Peacock, Amazon, Paramount, Scripps, ION, USA Network, NBA TV. Every major American broadcaster lined up to write a check. This is the largest financial commitment in the history of women's professional sports, full stop. Now consider what those signatures actually mean. Networks do not pay for games. Networks pay for guaranteed viewership thresholds. When the NFL fails to deliver projected ratings on a Monday Night Football broadcast, the league has to compensate advertisers with bonus inventory on future windows. That cost gets eaten somewhere in the system. If the WNBA's marquee draw is sidelined, restricted, or quietly sandbagged by her own organization, every one of these partners is going to want their pound of flesh. And the league has very little flesh to spare.
The deal comes with reset provisions. Uh-oh. After the third season in 2028, if triggered, the sides can renegotiate the terms of the deal, including length and cost, but it's unclear whether the provision can be triggered by the league, its partners, or both. That is major. That is major. Boy, they better hope Caitlin Clark's not injured.
This single clause should be keeping the league office awake at night. A reset provision after the third season. That's 2028. If the deal underperforms, if ratings collapse, if engagement drops, if the audience the league promised fails to materialize, the partners can come back to the table and force a renegotiation. Length, terms, money, everything reopens. Now place that clause in context. The entire valuation of this league is propped up on the assumption that a 2024 rookie continues to be the most watched player in basketball. Not the most watched woman in basketball, the most watched player in basketball, period. Her regular season games last year were pulling audiences that competed with NBA playoff broadcasts. That is the foundation under the $3.1 billion. Take that player off the floor, or muffle her impact, or let an organization with apparent grudges dilute her brand, and the foundation cracks. The reset provision exists precisely because the broadcasters who signed those checks demanded an exit ramp. They priced the dependency into the contract. They saw the same single point of failure the rest of us see.
There's something we don't know about. Somebody asked me today, why isn't your coverage more positive? Because sports franchises lie. All of them. That's all they do is lie. Who's going to call them out? I mean, general managers, coaches, that's what they do. You think the WNBA is any different? The WNBA media is certainly not going to call them out.
This is the bottom line about how front offices operate in professional sports. Teams do not exist to tell the truth to fans. Teams exist to manage information, control narrative, and protect institutional interests. Coaches are paid to deflect, general managers are paid to spin, public relations staff are paid to coordinate language. The Indiana Fever organization is not under any contractual or moral obligation to tell you whether Caitlin Clark is fully healthy, whether she's being load managed in some unannounced way. Whether there's internal friction over her role, or whether the offseason guard signings mean what they appear to mean. And the press corps that covers this league has demonstrated over and over again that it will not push back. The WNBA media ecosystem, with very few exceptions, functions as an extension of the league's marketing department. It is not adversarial, it is not skeptical. It will publish what it is told, frame stories how it is asked to frame them, and look away from anything that complicates the narrative the league wants to sell. When fans on social media notice that the franchise player is conspicuously absent from her own team's primary account for a week at a time, the response from professional reporters is silence, or worse, condescending dismissal. So fans are left to read the tea leaves themselves. Start with that social media pattern. From the start of the regular season, count the days between dedicated Caitlin Clark posts on the Indiana Fever's primary channels. Compare that ratio to her teammates. Compare it to the way the Liberty handles Sabrina Ionescu, or the way the Aces handle Aja Wilson, or any franchise that has a generational talent and isn't trying to obscure that fact. The disparity is not subtle. It is not within the margin of error of a content calendar that occasionally favors one player over another. It is a sustained pattern by an organization that has, for whatever reason, decided that elevating other players is more important than meeting the moment with their biggest star. Move to the roster construction. The Fever's offseason was openly described as a championship pivot. Get veteran talent around Clark. Surround her with experience. The narrative made sense in November. By April, it started looking strange. By May, it looks like a team-building redundancy at her position, which is the single move you make when you're genuinely worried about availability. You do not stack the guard rotation that deeply if you believe your franchise point guard is going to be on the floor for every meaningful possession of every important game. And consider the team they are supposed to compete with. The Rachel Demita breakdown of the New York Liberty roster. 5 players standing 6'4" or taller. A front court built like a redwood forest. That is the Eastern Conference opposition. That is the team the Fever is supposed to outscore and out-rebound, while their star is allegedly mishandled and their social media department pretends she doesn't exist. The competitive math does not work even if everything inside Indianapolis is fine. And everything inside Indianapolis does not appear to be fine. Then there's the ticket market, which is the most honest signal in all of sports. Secondary market pricing is not influenced by team press releases or league spin. It reflects real demand from real buyers spending real money. Empty seats at the home opener are a data point the team simply cannot wave away. People who would have paid premium dollars last season are not paying discount dollars this season. Something has changed. Either the product is different or the perception of the product is different. And at the scale of money involved, perception becomes reality very quickly. There is also a broader pattern of organizational behavior worth flagging. When a normal franchise has a star at risk of injury, the public-facing materials get visibly cautious. Practice reports get vague. Pre-game availability gets cryptic. The star's name quietly disappears from promotional rotation. Every one of those classic warning signs is currently present in Indianapolis. The Fever may not be confirming anything publicly, but their behavior is telling on them. Now layer all of this on top of the league's biggest financial moment ever. The reset provision built specifically to protect partners if the goose stops laying golden eggs. Every actor in this ecosystem is suddenly hyper-aware that the entire valuation depends on continued performance from a small number of marquee players and one player above all others. And we have a team that appears to be either mishandling that asset, hiding information about that asset, or actively diluting that asset's brand. Pick whichever explanation you find most charitable. None of them are good. The question fans should be asking is not whether something is wrong. The pattern is too consistent across too many independent indicators for nothing to be wrong. The question is what specifically is wrong, who knew, when did they know, and what happens if the truth becomes public in the middle of a season that the entire economic future of the league depends on. Because the alternative explanation, that this is all coincidence, that the social media patterns are random, that the guard signings are unrelated, that the bench accessories mean nothing, that the ticket collapse is just market correction, requires believing in a series of unrelated unlucky events that all happen to point in exactly the same direction at exactly the same time. I don't buy that. I don't think the comments under every Fever post buy that. And I don't think the executives at Disney, NBC Universal and Amazon who just wrote billion-dollar checks against this league's future buy that either. Somewhere, behind closed doors, somebody is asking hard questions. The only question for the rest of us is when the answers reach the public, and how bad they are going to be when they do. So tell me where you land. Is the Indiana Fever organization protecting Caitlin Clark from an injury we have not been told about, or actively undermining the star who made the franchise valuable in the first place? Is Kathy Engelbert's league in genuine financial danger, or is the reset clause just standard contract boilerplate that does not deserve this much attention? Drop your read in the comments. I want to hear it. Like the video if you want more coverage willing to ask these questions. Hit subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you on the next one.